Hey guys, I'm back again. I want to get on here again and share with you a dream that I had about a week ago. I dream quite a lot. I do have a lot of dreams, and I began to ask the Lord which dream in particular does He want me to share next, because I do understand that some dreams I'm meant to share, and some dreams are I'm not meant to share. Some dreams are for a specific time. I'm led to share them at a specific time. So immediately he reminded me of a dream that I had about when I was on a beach. In this dream, the dream, I'm gonna go right jump. I'm sorry, guys, I'm gonna jump right into it. So in this dream, I was on a beach and I was playing with a little girl that looked like she was my daughter, but she wasn't. But she was around the same age, and I was holding her hand, and we were actually playing on the shore of the beach, the shoreline, just on the sand. We weren't necessarily in the water. So as we were walking and playing right there, I remember looking out and seeing the ocean water. The ocean water was pretty deep. It was a bit murky. I also knew that the ocean water was dangerous and it had all types of creatures in it. Like, I didn't have um, no intentions of getting in there or swimming in there. I just wanted to stay on the shore. As we were on the shore, a wave began to brush up on the beach. So a wave was coming in. As this wave was coming in, I noticed that immediately it began to change into high tide. So if you guys are familiar with the beaches, we have like a low tide. During the low tide area, it's pretty shallow. It's more the sand area, but immediately it changed to high tide where this wave was coming in. Also with this wave that was coming in, it was bringing in the tide. It was bringing in deeper water. So the tide was actually coming in, and it was coming in closer to the beach. So I began to make my way further inshore because I didn't want to be in that water. I didn't want to get in that water and get pulled out into whatever was in that water. So I immediately grabbed the girl and we went in towards the shore, and we were on a boardwalk area of the beach. On this boardwalk area of the beach, there was little shops where you could buy food. Little boutiques that they have set up like on the beach, but it's like a little boardwalk. I looked down and I noticed that the little girl that was with me, she was missing. I began looking all over for her, just looking, calling her, and she was just nowhere to be found. I began to get scared and was like, I hope, nothing happens to her. I was thinking she might have got kidnapped or something. There was so many people out there. So I began walking around looking, and I began to ask God, like, please just let me find her. Um, Immediately after I had that thought and actually prayed in my head in the dream, I found this pavilion on the boardwalk. In this pavilion, there was a large group of children gathered. So as I stepped into this pavilion and I was looking around, I saw the children gathered. All these children gathered just in there like they were watching something. I walked through the crowd of children and I found the little girl and I grabbed her hand. I'm like, come on, we gotta go. In the center of these children, there was a boy there. This boy was like a teenage boy, maybe going into young adulthood. This boy in the dream looked familiar. He actually was somebody that I knew. It was somebody's son. So I knew him. When I went closer to him in the middle, he was actually showing the children, demonstrating to them some type of technique, like a spiritual technique. Immediately I saw what he was doing. There was like some rose petals on the ground. There was also like this silver bowl and this like little silver rod that he had, and he was rubbing it going around the bowl. It's like he was performing a ceremony, and he was having all the kids watch them, and he was teaching them how to do it. So of course, I was in the crowd. I went to where he was at in the center, and I was like, this is wrong. Stop teaching that. And I literally kicked the stuff over. I kicked it and scattered it. And then all the kids got up and they were looking at me, and I told them they need to go home, like, get out of here. So all the kids, got up and they began to leave. What I noticed with the boy that was doing the ceremony, there was an older man that was with him. that was with him the whole time, just standing like right by him. The older man never said anything, but it was if the older man was the one that was running everything. He was silent, but he was the one controlling everything, but the boy was actually the one acting and doing the things. So the dream changes to where there's a explosion, something took place. It was like an explosion, like a crash explosion or something, and I just began to see people running and screaming. So people were running and screaming, trying to get out of there, trying to get to safety. I saw that people were running in two directions. Majority of the people, I'm going to say about 90% of the people were running, I'm going to say running forward, running in front of me. So they were like going out in front of me. But they weren't aware that they were actually running to the danger. And in the dream, I was running the opposite way. But I knew the way that I was going, it was a safety. But majority of the people were running the opposite from me. And they believed that this way was safety, but I knew that it was a trick. They were actually running to where the explosion started. Like that's where the people are at that started the thing, and they were running towards it, but everybody was under the impression that was safety. And also they looked at majority of the people were running in that direction, so they were following them. So I just looked at it. I also saw that same boy running in that direction as well, with the old man that was accompanying him the whole time when he was performing the ceremony. I stopped him and I said, "Hey, you're going the wrong way. That's the wrong way." And I began to plead with him and reminded him about what the Word of God says, and what the Word of God say, and the way that we're supposed to go. Also, this boy, he was familiar. He was familiar. I knew him, and I knew his family, and I knew the family that he came from, and he came from a family that was strong in the Lord. So I knew that he not only grew up in the church, but his family was strong in the Lord, and they taught him the foundations, the principles of God and stuff. But he came to this age to where he was kind of doing his own thing, so he knew the thing. So I tried to plead with him. I'm like, "Hey, remember what God said in his word. Remember when he said this and that." I said, "You can't do this. You're running the wrong way. You need to come this way where I'm going." I was pleading with him, "Don't do this. Don't do this." And the whole time I'm pleading with him, he's just looking at me. And I stop, and he turns and he goes the other way. He turns and goes the other way with all the other people running in the direction where the danger was at. And the old man, was with him. But the old man was standing off to the back as if he was waiting for him, make his decision. And he made his decision and went in the direction where that old man was at, following the crowd, going in the direction of the destruction where the actual explosion happened, and everybody was running that way. So one of the things I wanted to point out in the dream about the wave represented a spiritual deception. It was a spiritual deception that had washed up on the shore. So most of the time we know what waves, when they wash up on the shore, and they drag, whatever it is in the sand, they drag it back out into the ocean with them. So I knew that this particular wave was symbolic of washing up on the shore to deceive the children. Whether it be, I don't believe that this was, maybe it could have represented children, but also children of God and children that weren't of God, but these were still children. So it washed up on the shore. This wave washed up on the shore. So I think that's what the wave was symbolic of, a wave of deception. Also, in the dream, when the little girl went missing, and I found her in the crowd, in the pavilion, the crowd with all the other little children, the boy that I knew, he was the one in the center teaching them this new way, this new spiritual thing of healing or something. What stood out to me, the items that he was using was a silver bowl and this metal rod to rub around the bowl. It's like he was showing them how to do it, how to do it. This thing looked very familiar. I saw this before, actually not in a dream, but actually in real life, briefly on social media, and then also I think over on YouTube. And I just Googled it really quick because I saw this before, and actually what I found out is that it was the object shown in the dream was a healing instrument. So they have all this bowl laid out. They have these little rods that they use to rub on the bowl and hit the bowl. So it's like they do a ceremony, but they do this ceremony like they're producing a sound that's going to bring healing to their bodies and stuff. So this is something that's kind of hit the mainstream, and a lot of people are actually doing this, and also a lot of celebrities. One of the celebrities I saw a particular celebrity, I think it was Taraji P. Henson. She was doing this as well. I saw a brief video for her, I believe it was her, but she was doing this as well, and they were like backing it 100%, like how they wholeheartedly believe in this thing and stuff. So this is what he was actually showing the children. He was showing the children. Also, what stuck out to me in the dream was the older man that was with him the whole time. The older man never said anything but stood by his side. But I also knew the older man was like the one influencing it and the one teaching him and overseeing it, but he never said anything. What I also think that what that old man represented was a demonic spirit. This could have been the strong man that was behind the spiritual deception, you know, aiding him and guiding him on how to do these things, how to practice this new spirituality. So I think that's what the old man represented. Also, when the explosion happened, there was something that took place to where we had to choose what way we were going to go for safety and stuff. And majority of the people ran towards the explosion where it actually happened, but they didn't realize that's where the explosion happened. That's where the danger came from. And they ran in that direction thinking that they were running to safety. What also stood out is that a lot of the people ran there, like 80 to 90% of the people ran there. So it was almost like a herd mentality. Like they saw a bunch of these people running in this direction and they were just going to follow the crowd. They ran with them and stuff. I knew that they were running in the wrong direction. We actually had to run back this way and not that way towards it. Also in the dream, the boy, I knew him. I knew his family. I knew where he came from. I knew, you know, his mother, his, you know, I knew his family members, that they grew up in the Lord and they knew the Lord and they laid a foundation for him, and he went to church with him, but he still chose to engage in other things, other spiritual things that weren't of God. And I began to plead with him and reminded him of the word, and he just didn't want to hear it. He made up in his mind to go the other direction and also follow, you know, the leading of this older man, which was the demonic spirit, the stronghold. Okay. So with that being said, I believe this wave of this wave that came in is a wave of spiritual deception. This wave came in to deceive children, and mostly the children of God. And also what I saw to this person that I believe to be a child of God, he chose, even with knowing the Lord and his parents teaching him about the Lord, he chose to go the other way. He chose to go with this new kind of spirituality. I mean, he was teaching it to other children, and also when the danger happened and where we had to pick sides and run to safety, he went towards the danger, which looked like a false sense of safety, but it wasn't. And I was just there playing with him. He didn't want to listen to me. So I think what's important in this hour and stuff is that a lot of us, we're picking our sides. We're picking who we're gonna be with, if we're gonna be with the Lord or not being with the Lord. So even with this deception coming in, I think what we're gonna start to see is a lot of people that we thought that were believers, that had a foundation, that they will be spiritually deceived as well, and they will go along with that wave of spiritual deception, like they're literally making up their mind to follow Christ and not follow him and go with this new spirituality. So that's it, guys. Let me know you guys' thoughts. If any of you guys seen or dreamt or heard anything similar, I would love to know about it. You can leave a comment down below, okay? All right, you guys, have a good evening, and thank you so much for tuning in again.